right, welcome back to Marnie's Marketing Mondays, and today we're going to be going through how to install WordPress, how to install the basic plugins that you would need on a fresh installation, setting up a theme, just some basic customization of a theme. And I'm taking Dave's website. He's starting a new website, and so while everything's not perfect on what he wants to add to it yet, we haven't really got all that polished. It's enough here for me to show you how to install the WordPress and how to get it going. So I'm going to go to share the screen. And well, before we do that, I want to say you need hosting and a website domain. And a domain is like, for him, it's naturesguy.com. Okay. So one of the places that I like to use is HostGator, hostgator.com. Through them, you could get the domain and the hosting if you wanted to and have it all set up. But I'm kind of working on the assumption that you've got your domain name and you've got some hosting space. And HostGator has kind of a typical control panel to work through that I think a lot of different hosting providers use. So even if you decide to use something like Bluehost or something like that, it may be similar to this. But this is HostGator is what I'm using to illustrate this today. So let me go to screen share. Alrighty. Okay, so I've gone into the control panel, and most of the time a control panel of your website is going to be like your domain name, in this case naturesguy.com/cpanel. That will get you in, so if it was womenofvalue.org, it's probably womenofvalue.org/cpanel, Judy, So the cPanel is where you can control things like your files, your disk usage, installations of WordPress, things like that. So hopefully everything will technically cooperate today. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to software in the control panel and look for a quick install. And this is a place to just set up certain software that comes standard with most hosting providers. And so in our case, we're looking for WordPress right here, and there's a big install WordPress. So we'll click that. And right here, big button, install WordPress, we click that. Okay, and we're choosing his domain as naturesguy. And just leave this blank. That would only be if, the only time you would use that is if you've got a regular website set up somehow outside of WordPress on the main part of your website, and then you want a WordPress installation, others say /blog or something like that. So maybe you're using HTML code or something on the main part of your site, and then you want a WordPress installation under a subdirectory like blog. I wouldn't recommend doing that nowadays. I just build the whole site with WordPress, and so that's what we're doing for Dave here. We're just doing a WordPress installation, and we'll leave this empty so it'll go in what they call the root directory, the main part of the website. The administrative email, I'm just going to use mine here just so that I will get a notification. We can use his, we can change it later, it's no big deal. And we'll do, what do you want, Dave, for your login? Just Dave K or Dave, or this is going to be like when you log into WordPress, do you want like Dave? I can't hear you, you're muted out, so I don't know if I can unmute you. Let me unmute you for a second. Oh, you keep muting back.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Do DG Coons
on the admin?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when you log in, it'll be DG Coons and your name will show as Dave Coons. All right. Now it's going to come up with a really long password in a second, and we are going to change that later when it's not being recorded. Okay, so we'll hit install WordPress, and it'll say it's setting it up, and let's hope and pray. Keep our fingers crossed it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Actually, it usually does. It's just I had a little trouble the other day. Okay, it says we've got a complete installation up there. I'm going to close this because I'm not going to do this. Okay, so up here where it says view credentials, that when you click that, it'll pop out and it'll show a username and a password and stuff. And so just for security purposes, I'm going to stop the share right now, and I'm going to grab that information and just copy it. I'm just dragging over it and copying it into something for him really fast. All right. All right, so now let me go back to our screen share. All right, and so I'm gonna just get off that screen and go to naturesguy.com/wp-admin. Yay, okay. So we'll use his DG Coons that he wanted. Oh, I should have copied the, hold on a second, let me get that password. Should have got that while I was on there. And so I'm pasting the password in. And I'll go back to screen share. I'm not going to save it for right now. Okay. Okay, so here's a totally fresh installation. It says your site is currently displaying a coming soon page, and once you have it ready, then you can click here. So right now, only we can see what's going on. It's not out to the public. So you got time to play around, get it the way you want it before we really make it public. Okay, so I'm going to go back over. I've got a little cheat sheet to make sure I do everything. Okay, so we've installed the WordPress, and now we want to install a theme. And you could either use one of the standard themes that come with WordPress, but I'll have one that I really like because it's kind of like a clean slate kind of a theme that you can pretty much build a site that looks like anything with, and it's called Vantage. I think if you give them a $5 donation, they'll upgrade you. You know, at least a $5 donation was the last I looked, so maybe 15 tops. And it has just a lot of power to it. So I'm going to go down to Appearance and Themes. And oh, wait a minute, I'm not sharing my screen with y'all. Let me go back. You need to see that, don't you? Okay. All right. So what I did is I went to Appearance and Themes right here. Okay, so it's got, like I say, you could pick one of these themes, but I'm going to upload a theme right here. So I'm going to hit upload. And why did it not go to upload? There it is right here. Upload a theme right here. Okay, so it's now letting me choose a file. And I've got that theme right here. It's a zipped file. Most of the time if you buy a theme or whatever, it's in a zipped format. And we just tell it to install. And you can see over here the percentage. So it's at 67%, 67. And it says waiting for naturesguy.com. So I'm letting it kind of have its moment to install that. Okay, great. Now we want to activate the theme. Until you activate it, it's not working on this particular blog until we activate it. Okay, so there's the Vantage theme. It's activated. Now, if you were to view this right now, just to look at it, it's just a standard Vantage theme. and it, of course, is not the way we want it to look. We want it to have his information and his logo and all that stuff. So we're going to go through and edit all of this stuff and make it look the way, at least as close as we can to how he wants it in the next 45 minutes. Okay, so we're going to go back over to dashboard, and there's one of the things that I like to do is go ahead and install my plugins, get everything in there. If there's going to be anything buggy with a plugin, I want to know it up front. So I'm going to install these plugins and make sure everything still looks good as far as their data that they have in there, and then we'll start putting his data in. So up here on plugins at the top is an add new button. And once you hit add new, you've got a search box where you can search for some themes. Now here's the themes that I'm going to be using today. And we'll go through these one at a time. Black Studio Tiny MCE widget is, it allows you to place blocks of text, and it gives you the full kitchen sink is what they call it. The kitchen sink is all like the bolding, the underlining, the headings, the creating links, being able to do just like a mini WordPress page, but you can do it within a block, and that block could be placed anywhere on the page. It could go on the sidebar or whatever. And so WordPress comes with a standard text block that you can use that way, but it doesn't have all the functionality that a real WordPress page would have. But this little Black Studio Tiny MCE widget gives you the full power inside of one of those little things. So we're going to install that one. So we'll just right click and paste the name of it here and see if
Marnie, would it be possible to get copies of what you've got, that list there, so we don't have to make copious notes of everything? Or if not, then I can just write it down.
Yeah, I can send the list out. Who's talking right now? Because it's hard for me to
Christy.
see while I'm Christy. Okay, Christy Gardner.
Or do a screen share. Do a screenshot.
But if you do have them design a logo or any.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is, you know what I'll do? Do you have the chat window open? I will copy them into the chat window for you so that you have them.
Oh, perfect.
And then you can get them from there. That would probably be the easiest way to go. So there you go. They're in the chat window.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right. So we're going to install that one. And what I do is I just go ahead and install them all, and then I'll worry about activating them in a minute, because if you hit activate, let me just show you what it does. You hit activate, and it's going to take you back to the full list of plugins again, and then you have to hit add new again, and then you have to come over here and do a search. Well, I'm too lazy for that. I want to make this faster. So we just want to get this done. So I'm going to just grab the name of the next one, and we may actually have that one on here. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off on the Google Analytics one because I think it's standard install with the WordPress. So we'll go for the meta slider next. And meta slider lets you have images that cycle through, or let people scroll through or swipe through images on your blog. So he's going to be doing a lot of nature stuff, nature photography and stuff. So I just think that'll be a really cool one for him to have. He can create some slides within there. So we're going to install that one. All right, and we're not going to activate it. We're just going to keep going on to the next one and search for it. So the page builder by site origin is one that lets you be able to create rows and columns and resize columns and place text wherever you want on a page. It gives you a lot of power. It's way beyond the typical WordPress page that just, here's a page, fill it in. This is going to let us really arrange the page nicely. So I'm going to hit install now on that one. and we're not going to activate. Now we're going to go to the next one is Pretty Links, and he may or may not have a need for that one, but it's one I always put on. Pretty Links lets you control, like if you have a really long, unwieldy URL, you know, web address that's really long, or if you want to, let's say he wants to become an affiliate for Amazon and recommend products, nature products, or an affiliate for a natural remedy site or whatever, you know, he can take his affiliate URL and shorten it to naturesguy.com/ groceries or whatever, you know, I don't know, I just made up a name, you know, so so whatever it is, you can just come up with some kind of name on the end of it, and the Pretty Links will reroute it. So it's like a short link thing. So I'm going to install that. And then there's a widget bundle that goes with the site origin page builder that we want. So let me, okay, so right there, that gives you some extra widgets that are cool, like being able to do images inside of circles or different things like that. You've got a lot of capabilities with that. The next one that I would recommend is Tracking Code Manager, and that one is we want to track his traffic through Facebook so that later on, if we want to run Facebook ads or we want to retarget some of his visitors to a specific affiliate product that he's offering or something like that, we can take his visitors who also have Facebook accounts and show ads to them. So I've installed that one. And then the next one, Yoast SEO, is one that gives you a lot of power for search engine optimization and also lets you control the way your posts look when you share them to Facebook. You can control the image that shows when it goes to Facebook, and the text and the title. So you could feasibly have a completely different description and image and everything for Facebook than you have for the search engines. And that one comes in really handy. The next one we want is Social Share. And Social Share is, I'm going to use this sassy one here. It's going to put his social media buttons where people can quickly pin from his site to Pinterest or share on Facebook or whatever, Twitter, all the main ones. Okay, so I got that down wrong. You don't really need WordPress Social Share. Just do Sassy Social Share. It seems to be a little bit more intuitive than the other one. Both are about the same. All right, so I'm going to hit activate on this one to go ahead and activate it since it's the last one in our list. Okay, so now that's going to take us back to our list of plugins. And I usually delete this Hello Dolly thing. To me, it's a waste. I just get rid of that. Nobody uses that. I'm going to waste my space on it. Okay, so I'm going to activate the meta slider. And then it'll reload the page and show me any that are deactivated. We want to activate the page builder. I'm just working down the list and activating them, any that say deactivated. Now the anti-spam one would be good, but I believe he may have to buy a code for that to really work. At least you used to. I don't know. It's worth activating just to see if it'll help you keep the spam down. So I activated that. All right, so Pretty Links is a site origin widget bundle we need. And the tracking code manager, and we'll do Yoast in a second. Okay, now that one went over and is trying to get me to install the tracking codes. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'm going to go back to my plugins. And activate the Yoast SEO. Okay, so I believe everything's activated now. So what I want to do next is, okay, so I've got the main plugins there. Just want to make sure I had them. Okay, here's some text he's going to put in, but we're not going to mess with that just yet. Let me go back over to the folder where I've got some of his stuff because I want to go ahead and show you. I'm just going to use my Facebook pixels because we've already got that set up, and if we run ads, I'll just manage it under that account. So I'm going to go back over here and show you. If you go to settings and tracking code manager, and I've done classes on the tracking codes before. So if you're a member of the Marnie's Marketing Monday, you can get in there and get that stuff. But it's under, when you do Facebook advertising account, if you go under audiences, there's a pixel code that you create, and then you can just copy it. So I have copied this. This is a completed registration pixel, which is it's a piece of code that's going to go like on a thank you page. Let's say somebody signs up to be notified of any time he has a new blog post. Let's say we create an Aweber list and there's a little sign up box that we put on the page. And when anybody signs up, well, we can have this code fire when they land on the thank you page after they've signed up. And that tells Facebook that this person actually signed up for something. So we can run ads and optimize for signups to his blog, and then we can track. Facebook will know, okay, you've had 100 people hit the page and 40 of them signed up to get something. Okay, and so that I'm just going to save it. All right, and then this next bit of code is, we'll add a new tracking code. We're just doing the process again. And we'll paste that one in. And this one is a purchase pixel. I don't know that they'll ever buy anything, but if they do, we can use this on the thank you page after they buy, whatever page they get to after they buy something. So we'll just save that one. But the main one you really need is this global page view pixel. This is your main one that you need. So we're going to add that one. And these will just be waiting in the wings where he can use them if he decides to. I mean, you know, this one will be there. This one we're going to set to be on every page of his site as a default to track his traffic. So we can start building a list out of his traffic. So this one is just a page view pixel. It's the standard default one. So you set it up a little different. You make it the standard code tracking. And I want it in the whole website. And so it'll appear on every page unless I tell a specific page, don't show this one, instead show the completed registration pixel. Or don't show this one, I want you to show the purchase pixel. So only on rare pages that are like thank you pages after a purchase or after a sign up, do you turn this one off and turn on the other two that I just showed you how to put in. Okay, so now he's good to go. We're tracking his traffic. Actually, we need one other little thing to do, and I guess I should show you that. If I can get this thing out of the way. I'm just going to go to my ads manager and tell Facebook to keep track of those people is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into my business manager. And since it's in my account, but I can specify an audience in here that's going to be just his traffic. So I click up here. I know I'm moving kind of fast, but we've covered this stuff in other Marketing Mondays, so I don't want to bog down on a tangent. But I'm going to go to audiences. And I'm going to tell Facebook to track his traffic. And the way you do that is you create an audience, and it's a custom audience. And it's website traffic that we're tracking. Okay, so we want to look at specific people who visited specific web pages, because we don't want his traffic confused with my traffic, right? So we're going to go, it contains, we'll just do naturesguy.com and hit enter. Or he's got a couple domains he's mirroring here. He's putting, or not, they're not mirrored, they're parked on this. So he could give people naturesguy.com or naturefolk.org or naturefolk.us. So we're going to just, any of the traffic that comes to any of those, we're going to call it Nature Guy traffic, naturesguy.com. And we'll create that audience. So there it is right there. If you ever needed to edit it or something, you could. I've actually got it set to the last 30 days, and I want it to do longer than that. I want to change it to 180 days and update that. Because it could be a few months before he would ever have a need to advertise anything. Okay, so that's all we need to do with Facebook. So now this tracking thing's set up. So you're gathering people, whether they fill out a form or not, at least you've got some way to reach the people who are interested in his blog. Okay, so now let's get going to the way this thing looks. We want to set up a home page, because we don't want that default home page that's like they've got a sample page stuck in here. And I'm just going to trash that one, because we don't need it. And I'm going to create a new page. So up here, add new page. And we're going to call it home. And we're going to use this page builder for this, because he wants to have a block of text at the top, and then he wants his posts, all of his new posts to show. So we can do page builder, and we're going to add a row. And I'm just going to make it have one column. So you could have a bunch of columns. You could, you can split it up however you want. And later on we can come back in and add columns if we want. But right now we're just going to go with one. I think I wigged it out. There it is. Okay. Okay, so we'll insert that into the page, and then we'll click Add Widget, because the way this works is you put rows and columns in, and then you add widgets in here, and you can arrange them however you want. It's like little blocks that you move around. So we're going to just put a visual editor. That visual editor is what that black, what did we call that thing? Black Studio Tiny MCE widget. That's what this is right here. It's given us the full functionality of a WordPress page in that little box. So now we're going to take Dave's text that he's got. Let me close this thing up and get his text. Okay. All right, so he's got a headline there. So we can cut that, and we'll put that up in the title of this box instead. And there's his text. All right, and then I'm going to add another widget box, and this one is going to be the posts that he's going to add in. So the post content here, or a post loop, would loop through his content, and he could break it up by categories, or he could have a carousel slider, which is like little boxes that go across. I mean, we can get fancy with it, but I'm just going to call it a blog loop for now and hit done. And then we'll publish this page just so that we can take a look at it here. And it doesn't really have any good descriptions or anything on it. but okay. Now if we take a look at it, okay, so it's pretty plain Jane looking, nothing fancy about it yet. But at least it's got there, and it's got a default post is showing right there, just one that they've stuck in, and it's got the standard sidebars and stuff. But we can play with this and make it look more like we want, and that's what we're going to do here. So let me go back over, we'll edit this page. Okay, one thing I want you to notice is the URL for this page says index.php/home. And I'm not really sure why it does that when you do an install, but if it ever does that for you, you can change that. We don't want that index.php to be in your URLs. And the way I change that is I go to settings, and I think it's under permalinks right here. For some reason, they throw that into the permalinks, and you just get rid of that. Well, we need one slash between the domain, but we don't need index.php in that first slash. We don't want that. That's just a waste of space. I mean, that's just a weird way that it does that. So I'm going to get rid of that. So now if we go back over to his page and view it, see, now it just says naturesguy.com/home. Now eventually we don't want it to even say home, but I'll show you how to fix that in a second. So we'll go back to dashboard. So what we can do is we can go to settings and reading. And right now it's set to show the latest posts. So it would just show a series of posts, but we want this special page that has his summary at the top and his post. So I'm going to change it to a static page. I want the home page to be that page I just built instead. And then save that. I know I'm going through this content fast, but you know, if you get the recording, you can always go back through and just rewatch some of this stuff. So, oh, well, it's stuck on that page right now, and we need to get rid of that. It's not showing our if I can remember how we do that. I think that may change when we make it live. So let me edit that. We don't want the demo slider on it is what's happening there. We'll get rid of that. It's got the demo slider was that big picture with the phone, and we don't want that. So we're going to get rid of that. They put that in there as the default, and we don't want it. So there you go. So now his homepage doesn't have that big thing on it. All right, so let me go back over to the dashboard, and we want to start playing with the way this looks a little bit. So I'm going to go to Appearance and Theme Settings. And in here, I can give him kind of a logo at the top. So let's choose an image. And he doesn't have any images right now, so we're going to just upload some. I've got this nature sky thing, which may or may not be the right size. I just made it before we started. And we're going to use alternate text. Always use alternate text to give a little bit more information on your site. The search engines like to look at the alternate text on images, and it helps things. We could actually give it a better alt text than that if we wanted to. We could, you know. What are some keywords you think you want, Dave?
Make it nature's guys.
Oh, sorry. Is it apostrophe or not?
Yes, it is apostrophe. That's cool. Sorry, no, nature apostrophe S.
Guys, yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, okay. I'm like out of it.
Guys.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know.
While you're thinking about that, I need to
I
get
had something opposite coast brothers living in the woods. Something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
That might be too long. Oh, that's alternate text though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not going to help us out with this, but I'll get you fix it. Does it have guys in the domain? We didn't.
It does now. I just bought it.
Oh, well, I should be building a site on it, but okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. Let me download that. I'm going to do a PNG instead. Did you talk your brother into doing it for sure, or you're just assuming he will?
No, he said he would. He just doesn't have a lot of time. But I figured out he wants to do a lot of videos, and we'll do a screen share, and I'll just talk to him and interview him.
Okay.
I think that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to the Vantage theme, and we're not going to use this one. I'm going to get rid of that. And yeah, sorry, I've got too many of these.
Hey.
I've got too many Zoom things in my way, and I keep having to move them, and they mess me up. Okay, so let's select file and get the nature's guys instead. And what did you say?
Two brothers, opposite coast. 2 is capitalized. Out in the woods. Something like that. I don't know.
Okay. All right, so we'll set the logo. I don't know what this header text is. We'll see where that shows up. We're going to do a response. Huh?
I'm sorry. Is the opposite coast east and west coast? Is that the deal?
That's where we are. He's out in the Seattle area, and I'm in Georgia.
Then I would actually put east and west coast. That would tag that in the. That would tag it. East and west coast.
That's actually what I thought before I started talking, but then I got all nervous.
Oh, get nervous.
Good call.
With us?
Do you capitalize east and west?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'm going to give it a responsive layout here.
You want the sticky menu? Yeah. Search and menu, yep.
And we want mobile navigation. And I don't think I'm going to worry about a whole lot of, that goes at the bottom. So we could do copyright 2018, David G. and Gene Coons, like that or something.
Gene Coons Jr. Yep.
All right, so we'll save that.
Dave, how about West Coast versus East Coast? I did some searches on Google, and they did East Coast versus. It's not verse that you're against each other, but it's like opposite. So that but you put East Coast and West Coast together, because then those numbers tag. If it's just East and West Coast, the East Coast, West Coast doesn't tag twice. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. I know exactly what you're saying. Good call.
Thank you.
I'm letting Marnie drive this. So.
Which means Donna gets to co-drive.
I mean, we're gonna. This
Oh,
is
sorry.
this,
You want me to?
this is just to show you.
You want me to mute? No.
No, this is just to show y'all how to do this. And I mean, we're gonna go back and massively change it. And I'm gonna argue with Marnie for the next week about all of this.
Okay.
Yeah, and
she'll make me cry because she's always right.
He's always trying to keep score on how many times I'm wrong, and then I'm right, and he has to subtract all the time. So,
well, what you do, Dave, is when you're right and she says you're right, you say, "Just a moment, let me record that."
It hasn't happened yet.
You just said she's always right. It's a recording.
Right. That's right. I mean, it hasn't happened yet that she hasn't been right.
Okay.
I learned that from her dad.
All right. So let's go back to.
So can we change that home, because that just drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's not going to be there. I'll get rid of it.
Okay.
Just give me a little time to get. There's so much stuff that is not right now.
Right.
And we got to work through it all. Okay, so let me go back and we're going to do the theme design, and we don't need all this padding now that we've got his logo up there. So we get rid of the padding, and then you can choose the link color. I mean, we're kind of doing a green. What colors do you want, Dave? I've got the green. You want any other color besides green?
A little bit lighter than that one.
A lighter one on that.
Gold.
It's got to be readable, so we'll go, because this is where your link colors, a selected link, so we'll go with that color. Okay, so I'm going to jot down these numbers that we're choosing. Actually, what we could do is see how that's there. I'm going to click on that color. Come on. Okay, this is the color number of the green. See that? So I'm going to keep those, and it's a good idea if you're doing a color scheme for a website. There's his green, and now we'll go back and see if he likes the gold. Do you like that color of gold? Do you want anything different?
I don't see it.
Right over here?
Yeah, make it a little bit redder. I mean, a little bit more yellow. And well, not quite that light. Yeah, somewhere in there, a little bit darker. Wherever that darker is, yeah.
Okay, so I'll grab that number. So now we can work with that number, those numbers throughout the theme color. Okay, so, all right, publish that much of it. And then we'll go back to fonts, and we can control the fonts that are through the site. I usually kind of stick with, do you like a serif type font or more of a?
Serif seems to be a little bit easier to read for me, but.
All right, so let's see.
We can play with it later. Why don't you just leave it with Helvetica Neue for right now?
Yeah, I was trying to find like a Book Antiqua or a Georgia, but they call their font something different. So
I thought I saw Georgia.
Did you?
I think.
Georgia.
There it is. Okay, so Georgia, and then
under G.
But you can play around with these later and make them whatever you want. Yeah. Come back. All right. All right, and you can make the font a little bigger, which makes it a little easier to read too. And okay, so now with our color, the content color, we could make it a little darker, easier to read. The heading color, we could pull the green that we had and use it in there. Okay, so now we've got that. All right, now let's go back and see if we can get rid of some of this junk that's in there. This is the background color of the page. I usually take it completely to white unless you want it on something else.
No, I want it completely white.
Yeah, I don't like the a little bit off. It just makes things problematic later. So, see if we need anything else. Your footer, we could use, do you want to use the gold in the footer or the green in the footer down in the bottom, like down in here?
Let's keep it green.
Okay. Okay. And we can control the text. I'm just going to go up to the white on it.
Born a poor young country boy, Mother Nature's son. Oh, nope. Shoot. I'm sorry.
I was like, do you know we can hear you singing, babe? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me go back to menu, and we're going to do the background color of the menu as well. And we can use the gold in the highlighting of the menu. So like the hover background, we'll use the gold. And I'm going to just keep using that throughout. Okay. Just get rid of all those colors because we don't want them randomly showing up somewhere. And we can control the padding on the menu. Sometimes I don't like that much padding. I'll change it to something like that and change the font on it, or maybe 10 even, something like that, more of a strip. Or if you don't like the old school strip at all, we can make it white and just have text there. That's another thing you might think about doing. Like if you don't want a bar for the menu bar, you could just set the background to white and then the lettering to a different color. I'll just mention that, but we won't worry about it right now. Okay, so now to go back and get that home thing off of there, like he didn't want that. I always.
What about, Marnie? What about if you put the Nature's Guys, you know, that title that I had in there? Because you really don't want to
put it in where?
Put it in as the home. Hold still. See where it says home?
Yeah,
you
want it there.
Take that. Yeah.
Okay, let me.
Unless there's another reason to do the visual editor because it increases the SEO or something.
No, let me get. I need to find where it is in the other thing and get rid of it there. Hold on a second. I went back to the theme settings. So let's grab this text here and get it out of there. I don't really like where it was anyway. All right. Do we want to capitalize it all now since it's a page header?
Yes. And say, instead of out in the woods, say home in the woods. So then we have the home in there.
Okay. Okay, so let's see what that looks like.
That might be too much, but I'll play with it.
Okay, so our header there is not set in the customization, and that's a good way to tell that we don't have it right. So that's under your theme design and fonts. The page title size, see, we could go up, that makes it huge, see. And then we can control the color on that. Do you want the gold? Do you want the green? What do you want there? Or do you want to see a gold just to see what it looks like?
Sorry, I said green, but you can try gold. Yeah, green.
Okay.
You can take out the hello world, right?
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That's just showing that the posts are feeding there. What we'll do is we'll change that to your post here in a second.
Okay.
Okay. So
are you watching the time, Marnie, by the way? I don't know if this is supposed to be like an hour or what.
Yeah, I will stay on as long as they want me to stay on, and we'll work on it. So it's up, anybody can drop off when they're done, but we've got about 7 minutes, so I'll just keep going and recording and we'll have it. Okay, so now what we can do is we want an image for him on this page. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and look for the meta slider. And right now he's only got one image in that, but he may decide he wants to do something different. I'm going to do it as a slider, even if it is a single image. You don't have to do it as, okay, come on, gimme. All right, I don't care about that, guys. Okay. Home. I want to be able to rename it. Usually it lets me highlight that and rename it, but it's not doing it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to upload an image that I have. And it's a big image, so it may be too big. We may need to change it, but
Marnie, when you're dealing with images, do you need to resave them like in Photoshop in 72 dpi or how do you do that to be kind to the WordPress?
you can go, you could save it down. I don't know that I do 72. I usually do about 150 or something like that. You don't want to get such crappy resolution that when it's resized on a different devices that it looks horrible.
Sure.
This one is actually, I looked up what this guy said to do, and so it's a 1904. It's got 1904 wide, and I think I did 800 high. So, I mean, it'll work on a huge screen. I'm going to get rid of the dots. I don't want any dots or arrows or anything like that. It's just,
What's the theme, Marnie?
Vantage. It's a Vantage theme. And I'm going to Okay, so I'm going to go back to his page. And edit it and put that slide on there. So where it's got the, I'm going to make it a full page and get rid of the sidebar. I don't want the sidebar on it. And I'm going to give him this new homepage slider. I've got a couple sliders in there that I created by accident. I didn't mean to. Just kept ignoring me, so. Yeah, probably need to make the image a lot smaller. So, I mean, as far as file size. I don't really like that it's all cramped up against here and the way it's doing the social media share stuff. So you could kind of trick it into giving you some space if you wanted to. I'm just going to add another widget in here that's got nothing in it because I don't like that. And I'm going to stick it up there and see what that does. See if that just gives me a little bit of space. Yeah, a little bit of space there. And then we can go back and edit that hello world post. We don't care about that one. So we'll go back to posts and trash that one.
Sorry, I had to leave. It was raining and my car windows were down.
Uh-oh, okay. All right, so we're going to do a new post. And then we're going to grab his text for that. So he's got a haiku he wrote there. Do you have a title for this, Dave?
Take the risk.
Okay.
Or so, why take risks?
Okay, so I'm going to right align this image and stick it in. Now he could have a category for this. Do you have ideas of what your categories would be, Dave, or we could categorize it?
Nature observation. And I've got a bunch on my other site that I'll probably bring over.
Okay. All right. And then he could put tags for keywords. He could, we can SEO optimize. We've talked about that in another class, so I'm not going to go into all that right now. So we'll publish that.
Does the haiku need to have the slashes after the lines?
Probably not if you've got the literal line breaks, so you don't need them. Okay, so we'll take a look and see what that does. Okay, so basic post there. It might look better if the image was on the left. We could, instead of dangling out in the middle like that. But. And if you want to set things in the sidebar, like you probably don't want everything that's in the sidebar as a default. you can go to appearance and widgets. And like he didn't have enough to search right now, so we may as well get rid of that. Eventually he'll have recent posts. We'll get rid of comments. People don't really comment that much anymore. Get rid of the archives for now. We could have a search by category. Meta we don't need because that just allows them to log in, and we're not having them log in. So now if we go back to his site, so it's got it there. If you click on it, it goes to the individual post. So that's got him.
Can you move the spread the love? Can you move the spread the love down to the bottom?
We sure can. So if you go to customize, no, wait a minute, it's not under customize, it's under the dashboard. And it's this sassy social share thing right here. Let's try standard. Okay, so you get to pick which things. Reddit you might keep, but I don't know about delicious. We can get rid of. Some of these I don't ever, nobody uses those things. Maybe some people do, but go down to bottom of the content instead of top of content. Okay, so now it's down at the bottom. There you go. Another plugin you might look at installing is, and I will do that on his, is a Facebook commenting instead of the standard commenting, because that gets you a little bit more Facebook love when and it manages it a little better. Okay, so that's probably a pretty good stopping point right there. Did anybody have questions that stood out to them on what we did?
Thank you for reminding me that I know what to do, but I keep mislaying the information.
Can you change, so there's two things, Marnie. That home, can you change what it says? Like Nature's Guy's home or something like that? And also, is there a way to make some sort of visual break between the constant stuff that's on the top, the sticky post on the top? Because the way it looks right now, it almost looks like there's this post and then there's, I don't know, another chapter or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
On the home page?
Yeah.
You want some kind of a break right there?
Yeah.
Do you want
like
a line?
Do you want a tree or something? I don't know. Yeah. Sure, a line would be good. A little green line with a tree in
them. We can hunt for a piece of image when we get off of here and see if we can find you like some web art or something that was we'll look for that. But yeah, we can do that. These two are handled as two separate elements. So when you go to the page, let's just say we did want to do something like that. In this case, it would be, if you just wanted a solid line, just so anybody that might have that question, you can go to layout, or excuse me, design is where it is, and you can put a background color, a border on it, let's see, we don't really want a border. We want, I think that's done on the row level, not on this. But in this case, what we would do is we could just come down here and put you a little image of some kind.
Or even 3 dashes or something right now. I mean, just anything. Yeah.
Yeah, center
And
them.
but then center the dashes. Can you center just that line, or does it center the whole thing?
I just centered that one line.
Cool.
So let me take a look. There. You got that little centered thing. But we can put some kind of a graphical break or something there.
Yeah. But for right now, that's good.
And what was the other thing you said you didn't? Oh, the menu, you want to change the name of it. What you can do with that is we can create a menu that overrides the one that WordPress naturally creates. So we can just remove that, and then we can tell it what we want to call it and create the menu. And what you have to make sure you do after you create it is make it the primary menu. Make sure you click primary menu and save it. Otherwise it won't work on the site. It's just like there but not activated.
Okay.
But when you've overridden the menu like that and you add new pages, you have to remember to come back and go up here and go to menus and add those new pages to the menu. So like if we made an about page or about Dave or about Jean or whatever,
sure,
we have to remember to add them to the menu.
Okay.
Any other questions, anybody?
How would you make that photo smaller?
This one?
Yep.
I have to edit it.
Okay.
I'll have to edit the image and then come in and change the dimensions and the meta slider to match the image.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I did make you a thinner one, like one that's just you, if you want that.
You made me thinner? That's good.
Yeah. So, okay. Anybody else got any questions? Was this helpful? Is this anything you need for anybody setting up a WordPress site?
I got 17 I need to fiddle with. Thank you very much. They've just been sitting out there idling, and it's a case of having done so much on them, I might as well see what I can salvage rather than going back and recreating everything.
Yeah. Cool. All
nice to see you, Dave.
Good to see you too.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.